In the early hours of the 13th of June, 2025, the world bore witness to a calculated and brazen military campaign, Israel's Operation Rising Lion. According to the Times of London, over 100 precision strikes tore through Iranian territory, targeting key military and nuclear facilities. Natanz Fordo, Iraq, once thought impregnable, F-35I Adir jets backed by drone swarms and electronic jamming aircraft executed the assault. Israeli officials called it a preventive necessity, claiming intelligence revealed Iran's plans for a massive missile launch. Among the fallen was Major General Hossein Salami, head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, alongside several nuclear engineers whose names remain undisclosed. The Times described the strikes as surgical and spectacular, with footage showing Iranian radar stations and anti-aircraft batteries obliterated before they could respond. An underground site near Iraq suspected of housing advanced centrifuges was reduced to rubble. The operation's scale hinted at years of intelligence infiltration. This was no mere skirmish. It was a decapitation strike aimed at halting Iran's missile and nuclear ambitions. Israel deployed real-time satellite tracking and cyber disruption tools to blind Iran's defenses, while drones circled above, confirming destruction and gathering signals intelligence. Israeli officials boasted the operation had crippled Iran's ability to retaliate. They were mistaken. Within hours, Tehran unleashed a counter-offensive. The lion roared, but the warrior was far from slain. As smoke rose from Iran's heartland, a response was already in motion, swift, precise, and fiercer than anyone anticipated. Within 24 hours, Iran's retaliation stunned even the sharpest analysts. According to Reuters and the Times of Israel, Iran launched roughly 400 missiles and drones toward Israeli cities. Tel Aviv, Haifa, Petah, Tikva, Bat Yam, Rishon LeZion. Civilian casualties mounted at least 8 dead, over 120 injured. Power substations, transport lines, and command hubs took heavy hits. It was the largest single-day assault on Israeli soil since the Yom Kippur War. Iran didn't rely on sheer volume. For the first time, it unleashed the Fatah, one hypersonic missile. On the 18th of June and 19, 2 such missiles reportedly exceeding Mach 13 were fired. While U.S. intelligence hesitates to confirm these speeds, one missile evaded Israel's multi-layered defenses, striking near an airbase in the Negev. Radar and satellite imagery confirmed a breach despite 12 interceptors launched. Iran's older Sejil missiles also rained down, targeting airfields and command centers. Al-Mayadeen reported that some Iron Dome batteries prioritized civilian areas over military targets. The strategy worked. Iranian drones swarmed radar arrays, distracting defenses and allowing heavier payloads to slip through. This was no desperate act. It was calculated attrition. Iran's defense ministry declared, "We seek no war, but we will not tolerate aggression." The world now faced not just red lines, but retaliatory logic backed by advanced technology. And as missiles struck, the next move loomed at sea, massive, mechanical, and unmistakably American. By the 18th of June, the U.S. response was unmistakable. Business Insider and the Wall Street Journal reported the USS Gerald R. Ford, an aircraft carrier rerouted to the Eastern Mediterranean, the third U.S. carrier group in the region. With over 4,000 personnel and the ability to launch 90 F-35 jets, it was flanked by destroyers, cruisers, and submarines armed for missile defense and high-intensity conflict. This wasn't just support for Israel. It was a signal to Iran, Russia, and China. The Gerald R. Ford is no mere ship. It's a floating fortress powered by dual nuclear reactors equipped with the Navy's most advanced radar and defense systems. Aegis-equipped destroyers and supply vessels ensured months of sustained operations. Positioned near Cyprus, the carrier group sat within striking range of Iranian and Syrian airspace. The timing was telling. That same day, U.S. sources confirmed the activation of Night Watch, the airborne command center known as the Doomsday Plane. NBC News reported its takeoff from Andrews Air Force Base hours after President Trump's classified briefing. No statement was issued, but the message was clear. Washington was bracing for the worst. In Israel, the deployment brought relief. In Tehran, it sparked warnings. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei declared, "Any foreign interference will meet a forceful response." Iran placed coastal defenses on high alert, repositioning missile batteries to guard oil terminals and nuclear sites. The American war machine was in place. The question wasn't if it would strike, but whether orders were already in hand. As the Gerald R. Ford sliced through the sea, Israel's next battle wasn't just with Iran, but with time, cost, and dwindling interceptors. War is not just destruction, it's endurance. For Israel, endurance now carries a staggering cost. AP News and Haaretz analysts report that Israel's missile defense systems are hemorrhaging resources. On average, 10 to 12 interceptors, Arrow 3, Patriot, PAC-3, David Sling, each costing $1 million to $12 million, are fired per Iranian projectile. Iran's drones and ballistic missiles, by contrast, cost as little as a few $100,000. A single Fatah 1 missile valued at $200 can trigger over $100 million in interceptor costs. Iran's decoy drones exacerbate the problem, flooding Israel's radar and forcing a choice: intercept everything and deplete stockpiles, or risk civilian lives. The Wall Street Journal warns Israel's interceptor reserves may last only 10 to 12 days at current rates. Commanders are already prioritizing urban centers, leaving military zones vulnerable. This isn't just strategic, it's psychological. For the first time, Israelis see that Iron Dome Arrow and David Sling aren't infallible. Spending millions to stop a $500 drone is a losing game economically and strategically. But the costs don't end in the skies. Another battlefield unseen pits Israel against enemies it cannot bomb. Beneath the roar of jets and missiles, a silent war of sabotage and subterfuge rages. AP News and the Jerusalem Post report Mossad's covert strikes on Iranian missile sites, with nighttime drone operations targeting Shahab and Sagil platforms. Satellite and thermal imagery confirmed multiple launchers destroyed. Iran, meanwhile, uncovered a Mossad-backed sabotage cell in its southern provinces, planning attacks on Tehran's civilian centers using explosives and cyber tools, per Al Jazeera and Iranian media. The plot was thwarted, but it reveals the depth of this intelligence war. On the digital front, Tehran accuses Israeli cyber units of embedding spyware in platforms like WhatsApp and Telegram, harvesting data from military and government officials. Iran's cybersecurity agency urged personnel to switch to secure domestic systems. China, sensing escalation, evacuated over 800 citizens from Iran, per Reuters, signaling fears of a wider conflict. This is the modern battlefield. Missiles strike loudly, but malware and sabotage hit first, and often harder. Yet amid this chaos, a new voice emerged, not from generals, but from diplomats. Could peace follow such fury? By the 19th of June, war's drumbeat paused for whispers of diplomacy. The Washington Post and Al Monitor report that Iran and the U.S. signaled interest in resuming nuclear talks. Sources near the U.S. National Security Council say Steve Witkoff, a Trump envoy, was approached to mediate. No formal agreement exists, but a temporary ceasefire is being floated. Analysts per The Guardian remain skeptical. Such signals often mask escalation. Iran, having weathered Israel's assault and proven its retaliatory, might seek to negotiate from strength. Israel, strained by interceptor shortages, may use diplomacy to regroup. Morgan Freeman, with his seasoned perspective, once said, "Peace isn't born when guns go quiet. It's born when lies stop screaming." That truth resonates here. Propaganda clouds, public statements, and every ceasefire gesture may conceal sabotage or retaliation. In Iran, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei vowed no submission to nations aiding Israel, yet diplomatic channels via Qatar, Oman, and Switzerland remain open. Talk of a Vienna summit persists. Peace may be possible, but it won't be built on trust. It will be a truce of exhaustion if it comes at all. On the 19th of June, the war's tone shifted behind closed doors. The Guardian and the Express Tribune note diplomatic murmurs in Washington and Tehran. Steve Witkoff may be probing Iran's willingness for nuclear talks, while President Trump claimed Iran was weeks away from a nuclear weapon, a familiar warning with new weight. To outsiders, diplomacy seemed to crack open a door, but inside mistrust choked the air. Iran denied active negotiations, insisting no talks would begin until strategic retaliation against Israel was complete. Tehran called talk of concessions a ploy to aid Israel's recovery. Russia and China urged de-escalation. Russia's foreign ministry called for restraint, while China coordinated humanitarian efforts for its evacuated citizens. Their appeals were pragmatic, not hopeful. Everyone knew this wasn't war's end, but a pause between volleys. Morgan Freeman's words echo, "Peace isn't born when guns go quiet. It's born when lies stop screaming." The posturing leaks and bluffs signal fatigue, not resolution. This isn't peace, it's a breather before the next round. When Israel's first jet pierced Iran's skies on the 13th of June, 2025, few foresaw how fast the fire would spread. Within days, hundreds of missiles crisscrossed the region. Hypersonic weapons, drone swarms, and cyber sabotage dominated headlines. By the 19th of June, the U.S. had 3 carrier groups in range. Iran struck with precision, and Israel burned through defenses faster than it could reload. What have we learned? Deterrence is costly. Modern war spans bandwidths, malware, and economic strain. Even advanced nations can run out of options, and every bluff grows deadlier with time. Israel struck first. Iran hit harder. The U.S. arrived loud, late armed to the teeth. No one won. This isn't a final war, but a recurring one, evolving through pauses, retooling via diplomacy, reigniting with new pretexts. Morgan Freeman warned, America has a knack for striking matches in oil fields, then wondering why it all burns. This oil field is geopolitical, stretching from Gaza to Hormuz, Washington, to Beijing. As ceasefire rumors flicker, remember, missiles may stop, but war doesn't. It waits, repackaged, rebranded, deadlier than before. What happens next hinges not on weapons, but on whether history's lessons are heeded.